Hey, welcome back, friends. So the battery in the Forerunner is not doing so hot. I figured we'd take it out, but first, here's what it's doing. So as you can see, the voltage dives really hard on that battery, meaning it's just not very healthy. But I have one on order. It's going to take about 7 days to get here. In the meantime, what I thought we'd do is take a look at this. This is a Dewalt Battery Charger. It's got a battery reconditioning mode. I thought, you know what? Let's take the battery out of the Forerunner, take a look at this, hook them up, and see if it does anything. So I'm not going to bore you guys with an unboxing, but here's the basics of it. It's a battery charger, an engine starter. It can check your alternator, which I thought was kind of cool. Gives you the voltage of the battery. It can do some battery conditioning, polar protection, so you can't put it on backwards. It's got a USB and a power outlet. The power outlet and the USB, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can put your phone on top while you're charging the battery. I suppose. The pass-through port is kind of nice, I guess. If you have this plugged into a workbench, you can plug stuff into it and you're not wasting an outlet. So that's kind of cool. Really, I'm most interested in the engine start, the battery conditioning, and the fact that it can test alternators. That might be a cool feature to have. And for the price, it's not a bad little unit, I think. The back of it here, we have our battery leads, and they're actually quite stiff, which is nice. It's got a pretty decent cable on it. I like these. These things feel substantial for what they are. They're metal and they're coated, which is nice. They're not plastic, so you're less likely to arc things. And they really got a good clamp to them, which is cool. They seem fairly long. Some of these you don't get much lead on these things, and for what the size of this thing, for what it is, it's fairly long leads. So let's go ahead, let's get the battery out, and then we'll give it a shot. The only good thing I can say about this is that the battery died right here in the driveway. So it's not fully dead. There is still power. You can unlock the vehicle, and all the settings are there. But the thing I hate most about this is that, well, all my settings are going to be changed. I have to set everything back to the way I have it inside there when I do this. And that is just annoying, to say the least. Alright, let's get this thing going. So plug that up. These clamps here. These are beefy clamps. Let's see what it's saying. So it says the battery has 12.5 volts. I know that's a lie. So it says just to hit that. Then when it starts, this light will go solid, I guess. On second thought, I think we'll give it a charge and then we'll try reconditioning it. One thing that I like to do is pop these caps off. I should have done it before I started the charging process, but that's okay. I just like the battery to be able to breathe a little easier. You can actually see if any of the cells are boiling a little bit and keep an eye on the water at the same time. In fact, that cell looks a little low. I have to add a little water to them. Well, a good amount of time has passed and we're in float mode now, so it's thinking the battery is fully charged. See, battery's sitting at 13.6 volts and it's saying it's 100% charged. So now let's try a battery recondition. Let's see what that does. We'll let this run for a while and then I guess throw the battery in the car. So, we let it charge. We ran the reconditioning thing for a number of hours. I think about 5-6 hours. It says you're supposed to run it for up to 24, but we're just going to see if it does anything for this battery. I don't have high hopes at all. And then I let it sit for, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours just to let the voltage stabilize. So let's put this back in, and then we'll see what voltage is resting at. I'll leave the voltmeter on it. We'll see if it'll start. I kind of think it's going to start once. I just think if I turn it off and go to start it again, it's probably sucked too much voltage. I think this battery is just pretty well shot, to be honest. I don't think it has much life left in it. It's pretty old. It says 12.7. It should be where it's stabilized at. Go ahead and stick these leads in here as best I can. And, well, actually, I guess before we do that, let's go ahead and get the charger over here and hook it up so that we can alternator test at the same time, because we might only be able to start this battery once without charging it. First things first, let's plug this guy in, and then we'll hook this guy up. Then we just do this, and I'll start it. I guess that answers that. I don't think it's gonna run. Let's see if this will actually start the car. So let's do engine start. Oh man, that battery is down to 10 volts. Okay, so it says we do engine start. We wait for 60 seconds. When it hits 0, then we try to start it. Alright, see if it works this time. I'm going to use my little lithium pack to jump it, and then we'll run the alternator test and see how that works, because honestly, I'm not impressed with it right now. So this is the jump pack Helen and I bring along in our cars. This is a Schumacher. Got it at just the auto parts store. I'll leave a link to it if you guys want. This has actually been a really good little jump pack. We've had to use it a few times in various cars and various people, but it works really well. Let's see if it'll do this, because this is essentially, I mean, this car is, for the most part, pretty dead. So it's running. Let me go give it a shot. What does it have? It still has 89%. I could have actually given this a few minutes, but it did its job. So now let's hook up this and see what the alternator test does. We want that one. Oh, alternator good. That's what it says. So that feature works, I suppose. Alright, what did we learn? So we learned that I am returning this thing. I'm not going to keep it. I guess if you need a battery charger only, it wouldn't be bad. It seems to do that very nicely. And maybe the battery I have is just that shot. I mean, I know it's pretty bad. I noticed it going bad probably 3 days ago. It started to start the vehicle very, very slowly. And that was an indication I need to look at a new one. So I started, but this morning it's pretty much completely dead. And maybe that's not a fair test for this thing. But what I can tell you is the reconditioning thing didn't really seem to do much, if at all. There's no real noises that come from it. There's just a little symbol that does things, and I really have no idea what it's doing. The charger seemed to work pretty well, considering the state of the battery. The alternator thing was kind of cool, but again, you can do that with just a voltmeter. You don't actually need a special device to tell you the alternator is good. You just need to know the parameters, and then you can test that all on your own. So that's a moot point. Yeah, I mean, it couldn't start the Forerunner. Even when you let it sit for 60 seconds and then you try to start it, it did not have the umph, or wasn't putting out the umph to be able to start the Forerunner. So that's a bit concerning, especially when my little battery pack here can start the Forerunner lickety-split from completely dead battery. So it's very interesting to me. So I will recommend this though. We use this all the time. This is thrown in the Forerunner. We use it to help people out. We've used it on ourselves when we left something on and killed the battery in the Forerunner before. Which doesn't help its health, but you know, sometimes things happen. But yeah, we've used this many times, and it's been honestly the best. I think it was $80, best $80 we ever spent. I'm considering buying a second one and putting it in the Jeep, because honestly, they're better than jumper cables as long as you keep them charged. They're safer, they're quicker, and you can just pull it out and use it. So the safety wise, you don't have to have a vehicle running and put live jumper cables on someone else's vehicle and potentially shorting things out. So if you go to hand leads to someone who's not you and they don't know what they're doing and they accidentally cross them, you can have a lot of problem. Where this, you really can't cross it, and if you do, it's just going to give you a warning and not do anything. So they're pretty safe for someone who's inexperienced with jump starting a vehicle, and you don't have the potential of damaging your own vehicle by helping someone out, which is always a problem. So I will recommend that. I'll leave a link to both the things if you really want a battery charger. I think it's a good battery charger. Everything else is a little bit of a gimmick, I think. But I will, and I also leave a link to the jump pack that we use, this guy, because it really has been awesome. So with that, guys, thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. And well, we'll see you in the next video.